For Homestead and for Chesterfield too, because I mean, they were very accommodating.
So if it was Chesterfield Title II, it'd be nice also to get a review and a testimony from it. I know you've been doing business with them forever, but that kind of stuff, I would like to have like tangible, so we can provide that.
So just throw it out on Facebook page.
Absolutely, yeah. It just looks good, and people start understanding why it's important to use our membership.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, and Greg's been great. I mean, he's
So,
been working.
Yeah, if you can do both of them, great.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Greg is great.
Yeah, he really is. He's a good guy.
All right, so you should be able to get back on that.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to set it. For some reason, they had a passcode on that, so. We're okay. If you click the wrong thing, it makes things go nuts.
You're on mute, Lynn. Oh, good turn on.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
All right, we're getting a decent little crowd here. I'm digging it. There's Kylie.
Hi.
Morning.
All right, guys. Well, good morning. Thank you for taking an hour out of your time today to chat about 7% and listings. Like it's not an issue or nothing, right? Listings. How do we get them? How do we maximize commissions, Brent? How do we maximize, right?
You gotta get them.
You got to get them. You got to get them. Okay. I want to be very, very off the cuff. This is going to be more of an interaction type meeting today. Okay. Because we have some experienced agents on the call. We have some new agents also on the call. But more importantly, I want to make sure we discuss two major points here. Okay. Listings and the process of how to obtain them. And two, how do you value your worth? And we talked about this in the very beginning of this program many moons ago of what the importance is of valuing your worth and how to go out there and even sit down and get a listing presentation, right? So, there's going to be some going back and forth. Some people's views are going to be perhaps enlightened by other people's views or opinions, but still, nonetheless, we want to get this out, this conversation and this dialogue going, especially for the new agents. Kylie, Shane, Sean. Say that fast, right? You guys, I want you guys to really, also get involved in the conversation, ask the questions, right? What is it that's going to get you guys in front of that seller, for listings? I want you to ask. Okay, so I've kind of given you guys a roundabout nickel tour what we're going to be chatting about today. So let's start off with this. All right. If you had to work out your week from Monday through Friday right now, right? How many listing appointments do you have? How many listing appointments do you guys have? Let's start next Monday. From Monday through Friday, how many listing appointments do you have on the books? All right, I'm seeing zeros. Okay, it was basically expected, and it's okay. Kay's just smiling, not sure what she wants to say.
I want to have them. That's
Great answer. Listen, it wasn't a trick question, but I kind of assumed the obvious that it's not like your book is already, loaded with a bunch of listing appointments, right? I get that. Why is that? A huge shortage, right? It's a huge shortage. Like it'd be great. The good old days where, man, I got 4 listing appointments this week. So I got property I'm going to show. We're going to be easily going to be able to go get under contract because there's just abundance of listings. So what does that mean? That's our number one issue right now, right? Shortage of listings. And then Jose over here is saying, hey, man, you got a shortage of listings, but I want you to go present as a 7%er. You're like, yeah, right. What's up? Right? 0 listing appointments next week for 99% of the people on this call. It's okay. How do we narrow that margin from 99% to maybe a 70% chance, right, that you're gonna have some listing appointments? How do we do that? Right now, what are you currently doing? Right, let's get into the meat and the potatoes. How many calls have you made this week to set something up for next week? What mailers, what marketing, what social media have you done to get you to next week? To start seeing some engagement, right? Sean put a post earlier this morning, right? Hey, call me, let me know if you guys are interested in looking at buying or selling, right? I saw that. I saw some engagement. I believe that I'm friends with every single one of you guys on social media. Today is Thursday, and if you guys don't have any potential listings locked and loaded for next week, there's obviously, because of the shortage, but there's obviously some deficit right now that you guys aren't doing to try to get some engagement with potential sellers. Does that make sense? Like I said, I wanted to be very transparent. I wanted to be very upfront, put cards on the table. What are we not doing to engage? Because even though there's a shortage of inventory, guess what? Inventory is still being sold and real estate is being done. How do we get into that mix? Yes, Lynn.
So Vanessa, she's not on here, but this happened. She saw on Nextdoor, and everybody here should be on Nextdoor as a real estate agent. But anyway, someone said, hey, I'm looking for a real estate agent. And with that, she got some of her friends to recommend her. But with that being said, there was a long list of people recommending other agents. So she called me and asked me, what can I do that would be different? So I suggested that she go buy a plant and write a handwritten note and a little bit of information about herself, and she dropped it off at their door. I promise you, she's the only person on that list that did something like that.
Thank you, Lynn. And that brings up a perfect opportunity to discuss this. What is it that you guys are doing outside the box that no other agent, which is, again, your competition or your other colleagues out there in this industry, what is it outside the box that you are doing differently to try to grasp attention for engagement?
Well, let me throw something out, Jose, before you do that, because I know it sounds like a broken record, but we did this the other day, Liz and I did, we broke out, but the number one thing that we have obviously is what? It's the people that we know, right? It's the people that we know. So what do we have that's so valuable right now that they really can't truly get their hands on, but you can? What is that? What do they value really a lot in their lives that they paid a lot of money for? Their house, right? Think about how easy this conversation is. I've had a conversation with like 5 or 6 agents here in the last few days about this. How easy this is. Pick up the phone. You got them in your phone, right? They're your friends. Hey, Jose, how you doing, man? I got to tell you, I bet you've been wondering where you are in this market, right? Because I bet you can't pick up anything and see the news is wow. Well, let me tell you, because you're not only a friend of mine, you're a client. I want to show you where you are in the market. I'm going to want to do this little Zoom with you. What time can we do that? I've got 2 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll lay all this out, what's happened in your neighborhood the last 6 to 12 months. And it'll show exactly where you are in the market. How's that sound? What if you did that for like an hour or two? Just do that, and it's amazing what conversation could come from that Zoom call, because you can do Zooms all day. You can just hit in, and you're talking to people, and you're getting exactly the information you want. You're getting referrals. You're talking about people down the street. Just like Lynn was talking about, somebody's looking for an agent, that could come up in that conversation, right?
Guys, and Brent's point is literally the #1 reason why we are talking about shortage of inventory and your appointments next week, and talking about what are you doing this week to set stuff up for next week. He just gave you guys not only a golden nugget, right? But a very easy and simplistic way to get engaged immediately with your sphere of influence. Immediately. Take that and take it a step further. Why don't you go and pick 10 houses in your neighborhood, right? You can go on the tax record, guys. You guys are like the Wizard of Oz. Who's the guy behind there? The wizard, right?
Yeah.
You guys have all this knowledge, all this access. We were just in a meeting right now about dealerships and talking about a potential arrangement with the dealership for agents. And I just found out there's so much stuff that I don't know on how easy it is to buy a car without even having to go to a dealership. Why is that? Well, now I'm aware. I didn't know that. Now it makes it easy for me to say, you know what? I'm going to maybe use this guy now in the future because it's very easy to do. I don't have to even walk into a dealership anymore and get the car, whatever car I want. How about thinking in that manner and say, look, I want to step out of the box. I want to set up 10 appraisal reviews, right? Or 10 reviews. And I'm going to package it really cool, put their name, put it on their doorstep with my business card. When they open it up, you have a nice little letter with that name. Say, hey, I'm one of your neighbors. I am a real estate agent. This is so-and-so. I just want to let you know where you're at in your real estate market. What happens, guys? What happens when you do that? It's going to intrigue them nonetheless, right? Maybe you might get a phone call and say, hey, thank you. I was really interested. You know what? Thanks for letting me know. I've always wondered where I was at. I've been in this house for 10, 12 years, right? Or I've been in this house for 3 years. I didn't realize how much my appreciation. Yeah. Nonetheless, guys, it's good news across the board, whatever you give them. You guys need to continuously step outside of the box and continuously use your brains, use your experience, use everything possible day in and day out to come up with solutions to narrow that 99%, range of I don't have listing appointments to at least 70% to have a 30% chance. If you have a 30% chance, that means you're batting 300. You can be making millions in the majors, right? We've talked about that before. But you can't sit there and expect that business come to you now with just your referral business. You got to work your referral business.
The other thing I think that Jose is making a good point about is if you go to do something like this, let's say that reviews is your gig, okay? Everything that you do should be that whether you're doing the dropping off at the houses, whether you're doing postcards, make those postcards say the same thing. I want to tell you where you're at in the market. Here's my contact. I'll set it up. I'll get everything that you do for the next 45 days should be that message.
Yep. And also remember, Brent put a great article in the Remax Gold Agent website or page. And it basically states this: sellers are ready to go on the market. Sellers are ready to go on the market, guys. They're ready to go ahead and put their feet back out there. This whole pandemic is starting to become a thing of the past, right? They're not as concerned anymore. Don't be that silent real estate agent that no one knows that you're in the business, especially in your neighborhoods, your sphere of influences, none of that. But I think the biggest way to really start engaging is to start working either the real estate appraisal reviews, right? Your social media. Let's talk about that, right? New agents. When's the last time you post that you're in the business on social media? Sean, don't answer that. You did that this morning. I got you.
It was
What
good.
about you, Kylie? What about you, Shane? Kylie?
I think when that first post went out, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, right? Right now,
Yeah.
Kylie, you're in a position where you have a great opportunity because of the people that you know and where you're currently employed. And the reality is you can't sit behind your license forever. We have to look at ways to really start bringing and branding and gaining that experience, right? Same with you, Shane. I've seen your post, Shane. You've been doing a great job posting, in the past. Now, the question is now is what do we got to do to get in front of a door, to get in front of the appointment, to get the actual appointment, right? So let's talk about solutions to those questions, those concerns, right? Let's talk about that. What ideas are out there that we can do? Brent gave you a great one right now when he told you guys about the real estate review, call your sphere of influence, right? I gave you the hard packet stuff, right? But let's engage. What else can we do right now? Obviously, get a hold of your sphere of influence sooner than later. Keep digging, keep digging. What about your past clientele? Okay, how are we looking on that? Give me some ideas. What can we do? Yes, Lynn.
Popeyes. Drop items, drop things off at your past client's house, but for new people, just anything at all, some kind of a summer item, a plant, something inexpensive. It doesn't have to, it's just something that makes them think about you. And a plant is always good because they have to keep it watered, and every time they do it, they're going to think about you.
Everybody lives in neighborhoods. I know Kylie lives in a nice skyrise in Clayton. But think about this, Kylie. Imagine now that you're living there, you got another year or so that you guys are gonna live there. Imagine you start making friends and all that in that block, and people start realizing that in the future they're gonna want to buy a house instead of spending that kind of money on an apartment. That's a position that you can find yourself in, right? Get to know your neighbors. Summer's coming along. Really find out, really embed the fact that you're not only a personal trainer and a great one at that, but also a real estate professional and a great one at that.
Yeah,
Does
definitely.
that make sense?
Mhm.
So there's ways to get out there. Diana, COVID is over. I can see you now coming out now. I saw you come into Wildwood, right? What do you think we should be doing, Diana? What do you think you should be doing to start building that connectivity with your past clients or even your sphere, or just going out there right off the bat, doing Popeyes, doing any, something?
I like the Popeyes. I think I might try some of those, and I want to get into the mailings too. And I'm trying to, call people. A couple of people didn't want to list because of COVID, because they didn't want people lying and saying they were coming in and they were doing what they're supposed to be doing, all that. Older people.
All right.
Right now. And Len, you got something? I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought the digital newsletters too, Jose, are great. Even if, that statistically they say 30% of the people open them, but they still saw your name, right? Even if they delete it, they saw that they had an email from Kay, and there's Kay. She's got and the newsletters that are available now through through Bouge are amazing.
Have you guys ever thought, thank you, Lynn, have you guys ever thought about catchphrases on your emails to grab attention? How about this one? On the description of your email, right? I hear your neighbor is selling. And then on the body of the email, it should say, wouldn't you want to know how much you're selling? You could sell your house for? Have you guys thought about even also just really broad email campaigns? Like Lynn said, to me, 30% is a great number.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great number. If you got 100 clients and you're getting 30 of those open, that's 30 people. But if you take 30 minutes out of your day, start looking for good catchphrases to pay attention to, right? And here's why I say that. I challenge myself not to open emails that I know they're BS emails, but then I open one and I'm like, damn it, they got me, right? They got me. Because it was so good, like, oh, what? Oh, man. I'm not saying we got to be that stupid or that intolerant, right? I'm saying find something that draws attention to the consumer that's wanting to look into whether selling or buying. And when you start sending emails that say, hey, I hear your neighbor's selling, or I hear your neighbor just sold, right? Those little things capture attention, guys. And all you're looking for is that response, that engagement. Because if you get 30 people to open that email and maybe you get one or two of those people that actually return calls or inquire, oh, which neighbor, right? Oh, well, listen, let me get your address and I'll pull it up for you and I can give you actually better information that your neighbors are. Let me give you information on your property, because that's probably more important. Right? I'd love to get 2 clients a month extra on just an email campaign on a monthly basis. That's 24 clients a year
Mhm. Right.
at an average of 190,000. Huh? Yes, Kate?
I have something that I've been doing for a while now too, is I keep an open search in my neighborhood. So anytime something comes on the market, anytime something sells, anything like that, I keep all that information so that way, in fact, I was just in a conversation with one of my neighbors yesterday because there was a house that sold just like her floor plan. And we kind of, we were just talking in general about some other things. And then she mentioned that she saw my new listing that was on Hoffman. And I said, so we started talking about, real estate a little bit. And I said, by the way, there's a house that just sold in our neighborhood. I said, it just closed. And, I gave her all the details on it. This is what it listed for. This is what it sold for. And she was just like, she was amazed because this was her house, so just being able to keep her up to date on everything that was going on in the neighborhood. And I knew, I knew what was going on just from driving through, but I really knew what was going on because I have that search set up. So every time something happens, it reminds me so I can generate those conversations with my neighbors.
That's smart, Kay. The other thing too, I think, let's say we don't have listings, but we do have buyers and we do have closings that are going on. I know, momentum, we talked about this with video. How many times you're going to hear just sold, and you're going to see the picture of the house and whatever. We've talked about, this is the time to become the star of your movie. So you can go online and you can see different people doing this, but some of the ones that I've seen is get just a little bit creative. So the one that I'm going to share with you is that, so they've closed on the home. They wanted the big backyard for the dog, right? So the video is they're opening up the door and they've got the couple and the dog runs through and they run to the back and they're sitting on the deck and the agent pours them champagne and they turn to her and she said, "This is exactly what we wanted, the exact backyard." Boom! That is golden. If you put that out on your Instagram and your Facebook, what are people going to think of you? Well, I'm going to go with her because she gets them exactly what they want. That's so much different than a just sold picture. That's emotion.
I love that.
I'm an expert.
I love that, Brent. You guys, this is stepping out of the box. We're giving you guys ideas and solutions on how to capture and retain engagement with your clientele and your future clientele, your social media, right? How cool is that? That instead of just a picture, just so like you just said, now you're saved. Can you do a quick testimony? But we're going to kind of set this up a little bit. Well, let's be fun about it, right? Think about it, guys. I know maybe it sounds corny or maybe you're like, ah, come on. Guys, you have to do things outside the box to get attention. You can't just continue to do the same thing like everybody else is doing, right? You can't. We want you guys to be more engaged in working and understanding the concept of your business plan. Ironing it out like it's a system, right? Because when it becomes a system, guess what? It's already a habit. Mondays, I got to shoot video. I got to call my 10 or 15 past clients. Tuesday, I'm trying to make sure by Tuesday of the following week, I have to have property to be shown, or I have to go try to list or have a listing presentation. Does that make sense? Like, think about your goals and your settings, your goal settings, right? Think about it. Do you guys systematically, methodically set it up to where you know that each day is focused on making sure I'm ready to go? Or are you working on this week today? Because if you are, you're too late. You guys are the CEO, the president, the janitor, the salesperson, the cleanup person, HR. You guys are everything, right? You know, and if, again, I always like using the theory that I learned back when I was in retail, when the guy told me, look, Jose, I noticed on the computer, you're clocking in at 8:45 when the store, you need to be at the store by 8:30, for example, right? You don't open till 10, but you're there. Jose, if I put $100 bill on top of this counter, but you have to be here at 8:30, no later, then you can have it. Would you do it? And my naive young self like, hell yeah. I'll never forget the guy's name. Guy's name's Travis. Old man, taught me a lot, man. He taught me like think, dude. And when I said, hell yeah, Travis, I'll do it. He's like, well, then why aren't you doing it now when you're actually getting paid a hell of a lot more than just $100? Oh, dang, Travis. Right. I need you guys to look at yourselves that way, right? If you were getting paid a salary to sit down and analyze your week, your days, your months, your quarter, and you're responsible to work through your business plan, and you're getting paid a substantial amount of money, would you do it? Right? And I guarantee you, 10 out of 10 of you would be like, yep, I'll do it. Why aren't you doing it now for yourselves? Why aren't you thinking outside the box every week? Monday's your outbox day. Maybe Monday's the day you really work on following week, month, 2 months out. This is not a, for some of you guys, you may see it as a part-time business or a part-time gig. We see you guys as a business that needs to grow, and we want to help you grow your business to be in the environments of a Kristen Kaufman, a Diana Linney, or a Kay Roberts, right? And even then, we still want them to continue to grow, right? Because we want to make sure that when their time is done in real estate, they have something to show for it. And this is why we get eccentric. This is why we step outside the box. We're not your traditional firm that's going to tell you, go read a book, go online. We want to give you these ideas, these concepts, because guess what? Let's shift over now to valuing your worth, right? And here's the theory, okay? Here's your theory. Would you guys go rob a bank right now? Hell no, right? You know there's a lot of money over there, right? But there's no way in hell you'll catch me trying to walk in there and rob a bank. Why is that? Because you value you, right? You value you, right? You value your life. You value your environment. You value your integrity. You value your worth, right?
Yep.
Now, let's bring this down to a local, more realistic scenario, right? Do you value your business that you're establishing now or have been working on for years? Do you value it? What are you doing to continue growing its value? What are you doing to continue growing its value in your business? What are you doing to continue to grow its value in you? If you guys were going on the IPO, if you guys were going to go into the stock market, right? You want to buy stock that's growing, not decreasing, right? Depending on the circumstance. Maybe you get an Apple when it drops because you're like, oh, Apple computers just dropped. I'm going to buy it now because it's cheaper, but I know it's going to go up. But let's say you're a steady, conservative, most likely more realistic. I want to invest in the stock market to have something for retirement in the future. So I'm not going to be conservative. You'd look for more conservative stocks that go like this, right? Slowly increase, right? Don't you guys who want your business to have slow gains, good gains, but gains, period? Right? That's your value. Your worth is your value proposition. What are you going to do to propose to your business that I want to continue to grow it? And the only way to do that is I need to value my time and my experience. We've talked about 7% every single time in every of these meetings and far few in between. I've had great people get great shots at 7%, and I've even had agents already capture 7% listings. So I know it works. But does it work for you? Does it work for you? Do you see yourself with that confidence to sit down on the table and value your worth? Everybody thought Bezos was crazy when he went from Amazon just being books to saying, I want to sell everything. And they're like, man, you're crazy. How are you ever going to sell what we can go down the street to go buy and get it right there instantly? Now look at it. Now our mindset is, I don't want to get up, get in my car, drive 10 minutes, buy it. I'd rather just click a button and go. Where's this man at now, right? Think about it, guys. Where do you see your business and your value? When you're sitting in front of that consumer, that seller, and you're explaining to them why they should hire you, it's not just because you can sell their house, but it's the true value, the experience, right? Of how you're going to handle that transaction is why they're willing to pay you even extra. And trust me, I know it's hard to comprehend right now because there's a shortage in inventory. And the first thing you want is to be able to even have inventory to go sit down in front of. I get it. But guys, our listings don't have to start at 6% or at 5%. How about 6.5%? Work your way up to 7%, right? But if you have a concrete, solid plan of a listing presentation about who you are and what you represent, it's about quality versus value. They most likely will want quality. We've always used that theory of, man, go to any hairdresser, do your hair. Most ladies are like, no, you're crazy. I'm going to my gal down, whatever. I've been going for 15 years. Even though she charges you an arm and a leg, and the other place is going to charge you half, you'll still go to the person you're comfortable with. Right?
Yep.
That's why I go to my favorite restaurants. Right? I might be paying more for a taco over here where I can get it for less over here, but I love their food. So I'll pay more for their food. You guys have to look at yourselves in the environment of, look, I bring quality. I bring character into this transaction. I bring the professionalism that's going to represent you from A to Z. And guess what? After Z, when this deal's closed, you'll still hear from me. I want to be a common name in your data, in your sphere. How many, things that you do when you're closing a deal? Think about it, right? What can I do to continue engaging in my community and letting them know that I am the best qualified real estate professional that they'll ever meet? How confident are you guys to say that? Do you go with a listing, when you actually have a listing presentation, do you guys go in there and say, I'm kind of so-and-so, I can do okay. I can maybe sell your house. I might do pictures. I might set up an open house. Maybe I'll show it. I don't know. Would you guys ever go into a listing presentation saying those types of words? It sounds kind of stupid, right? And like, come on, Jose, what are we, kids? But think about it. I want you to think about the analogy behind that. There's no way in hell you'll ever go to a listing presentation and start your conversation like that, right? Oh, hell, I had nothing better to do, so I just went ahead and come and meet with you guys. Thanks. You wouldn't. But I know internally we have that humbleism. We care for people, but it's very hard to really promote your business because in your mind, you're thinking you're basically bragging about yourself. And a lot of people have a hard time talking ecstatically and passionate about themselves because they feel like they're just gloating in front of somebody. But one thing you have to remember is that you guys are a business.
Yep.
Right? And when we talk, you might not have to just say, hey, I'm Kay Roberts, and this is what I do. I do this, I do that. I'm better than them. I do. No. Maybe you can talk in third person or as a group. Hey, my name's Kay Roberts. I represent the Kay Roberts team. We have a company that deals with so many transactions. We are probably the most highly rated and specialists in your community. We do this, we do that, we do this, blah, 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 right? It's confidence. You guys can't go in there talking really bad about yourselves because come on, man, that's going to kill the deal. How about talking exceptionally well about yourself and being positive and confident about what you're saying? So that when you talk about commissions, you're talking strong, you're confident. They understand why you're charging 7%. They understand why you got a 6.5 listing. Here's the dilemma we're running into, guys, and this is why I continue to want to talk and discuss and bring this into the open market. We continue to have a shortage in inventory. We're going to start, as we are now, price gouging our commissions. So what are we doing? Instead of building our control of our market, we're price gouging our commissions to make less money just to get the listing, which then in turn, it's getting that consumer accustomed to lesser and lesser commissions, which therefore, we're continuously giving ourselves pay decreases that when it does become more of a stubble market and a sustained market, it's going to be challenging to get back up to the 6%. So why? Because in 2002, when I started, 7% was very common. Kate, would you agree on that? Right?
Yep.
And now 7% is like a ghost. Now even 6% is becoming, an imaginary number. Why? Because everybody's saying, I'll do it for 5%. I'll do it for 5.5%. That's the worst thing you do in this market. Why? Because already social media platforms, real estate platforms, they're already promoting zero commissions, low commissions, this commission, do it online, get on the computer. So you're basically competing in essence with the consumer on commissions when all it's doing in the long run going to affect you anyway. Go into Starbucks and say, hey, Starbucks, I know your coffee's $4, but I'm only going to give you $2 because that's all I think it's worth. Because I can go to McDonald's and get it for $1. What are they going to say? Go to McDonald's. Do you guys understand my mindset? And do you guys understand why I'm passionate? Because I want to see you guys succeed. And I really want you guys to feel very confident in the quality of work and presence that you guys give to each transaction, each consumer, each client. We cannot sit there and try at this point to look at the deficit of the shortage of real estate and frown upon it, right? And live in that environment. We can't afford it. What do? You know what? We step to the plate and we become Starbucks. We step up to the plate and we become a Panera Bread. That a salad is $15, right? But you still pay for it anyway. Why? Because it's good. We like it. Fresh quality, fresh ingredients, right? I need you guys to think that way, guys. And I know maybe it sounds a little redundant, as we stated earlier. Maybe we get more and more repetitious in these meetings, but at the same time, I have once a month to drill that back into your head and refresh your mindset and make you guys understand that you guys are the top 1% real estate professionals in this market, because we are. Those are facts. You guys are the second largest Hispanic real estate business in the Midwest. Those are facts. Your offices here, your agents average $3.5 million a year in sales. Those are facts, while the mayors themselves are right under $1 million in average sales. Those are facts. We're not just shooting from the hip and seeing, well, hey, Brent, what should we talk about? I don't know. Let's just shoot them from the hip, see what comes up. Guys, we mean these meetings because we want to make sure you guys are understanding and digesting every month. I am worth what I charge. My business is worth being a premier business. I might not be the cheapest, but I can assure you I'm the best.
You get what you pay for.
Yes, ma'am. Amen to that. Amen to that, right? Get what you paid for.
Absolutely.
You can always, which I love the line that came up. Lynn said this about 3 months ago in our meeting. She said the term discount brokers. And I said, you know what, Lynn, I love it so much that I think we should use that all the time with any agents. When those clients say, yeah, well, I have agencies, this agency charging me 5%. Well, you know what? I appreciate that, Mr. Seller, but as most discount brokers, such as the one that you use, or they're talking about discounting their commission, is because they're going to probably figure out how to monetize that independently by adding all these other fees to it. You're saying right now that's what they're going to charge, but you never know what kind of service you're going to get. And at the end of the day, is cheapest, you know, are you willing to sacrifice the biggest investment of your life, which is your transaction, to someone that is that easy to negotiate a commission that first day, that minute, to the less? Do you feel confident and really, you know, strong about that person negotiating your largest investment that you've ever made on your behalf? That's the mindset that I want you guys to understand. You know, relate it to remodeling. I throw all these analogies in the scenario because I want you to understand where this goes. Okay, if somebody said, I'll do your kitchen remodel for $2,000, right? And you're sitting there looking like, holy shit, I want granite countertops, 42-inch cabinets. You're in the business, mind you. You understand somewhat of construction because you're in the real estate business. Let's be honest. And this guy said, yeah, I'll do it for $2,000. Tell you what, pay me $1,000 now, and then I'll get it done in, I don't know, a month. Would you be a little concerned? Right? Because you know that's like a $10,000 or $20,000 job, depending on, you know, what kind of stuff you want. There's no way in hell you can get a job done like that with $2,000. Even if you're just simply putting paint.
You'd be lucky
Would
to
you
get-
feel confident? Okay, would you?
Well, yeah, I'd take the cheapest thing I could get.
Right? I mean, the thing in my mind would be, wait a minute, $2,000, granite countertops, backsplash, 42-inch cabinets, floor, everything, $2,000? How are you robbing Home Depot for the supplies? What are you doing, dude? Right?
If it's too good to be true, don't do it. You learn the hard way.
Here's the last case in point that I will make, okay? And this will probably hit a little more closer to home than others, but do you trust any doctor to do surgery on you? Look at you guys. You guys are all like, oh, hell no, right? Why is that? Because it's your life, right? You value your life, right? Would you value your worth that much? Would you shift your mind to value your worth that much that you value it like you value your life? Like you don't want to walk into bank savings and loan and just say, it's a stick up. Give me your money. You value it like that, right? I want you guys to value your business. I want you to value your worth that way. And again, some of you might not agree with me, and I respect that, and I'm okay with that. But at least I know confidently in myself and Brent and Lynn and everybody on behalf of the management team that we're doing our best to continue to drive that notion of you understanding that you guys are worth everything you guys do and then some. So that when you guys do sit there and meet and talk to your consumer, you guys are confident to sit down and talk to, you know, them and say, hey, here's what I am. Here's what we are. Here's what we do. This is how we do it. This is my whole team. Let me explain to you who's involved in my organization, right? We have inspectors, we have buyers, or sewer laterals, we have appraisers, we have lending institutions, we have a vendor program that's involved in our organization. This is my whole team that encapsulates why this is what we do and how we do it. If you guys are there presenting, you know, I'll do it for 6%, and this is all I'll do it for 6%. I honestly think you guys really reconsider how your business plan was set up, and I would highly tell you to reconsider how your presentations are, because there's more to you than a dollar sign, guys. And I guess that's where I'm getting at. There's more to you guys than a dollar sign. There's value, there's credibility, there's culture, there's professionalism, there's care. For all our tenured agents, you guys know how hard this industry is, especially when you start doing major, you know, more volume and more transactions. Not everybody's going to be happy and go lucky closing, right, Kate? Like this morning, right? When you're like, holy shit, and all of a sudden, oh, it was just that. Yeah, they just need to hear from me. Didn't I say that to you, Kate? Maybe they just needed to hear from you, Kate, right? Maybe he just wanted to hear from you. And when he heard it, he's like, okay, right. Kay had a situation where there was not a disgruntled client, but he was just like really at edge, you know, just trying to figure stuff out. And, you know, she uses Kristen as a transaction coordinator. And it was just a simple signing of clear paperwork, really. And he kind of flipped a gasket on Kristen, and Kristen just said, hey, look, Kay, do you mind calling? Kay calls them, talks to them, say, okay, here's the deal. It's really easy. It's just language that we need to clean up in our contract. Nothing more. You knew about this already. We discussed it, Mr. Buyer. You know what he says? Okay, that was it. Am I wrong? I explained it, Kay.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, he just, his first initial reaction on a lot of things is just like, oh my God, I can't do this. I can't do that. I mean, he was ready to call off the closing because he had to sign a form that said that a home warranty was included. So you just kind of bring them back in and, breathe into the bag. This is all good, and just tell them, this is something we've already talked about. We've already discussed it. This is just us cleaning up our paperwork. And he's like, oh, okay. That was it. Okay. That's all I got. And I'm like, okay, it works for me.
And don't you think Kay's time is value, right? She already talked to him about it. This is just a cleanup item, right? Well, guess what? She's a professional, right? First and foremost, she cares about her clients. This is a big transaction for him. He's a little, weirdly when it comes to a transaction. Maybe he's just overwhelmed. But all it took was Kay's voice and an explanation and understanding that we've been through this before. To me, that's value of proposition at its best, at its finest. Because that client just simply said, okay.
Walk them off the ledge.
That's it, walked them off the ledge.
Yeah. And we have to remember too, that we do this every day. They don't, so you have to be with people where they're at. You have to be the calming force that, you can come back with, everything's going to be fine. This is good. And then they're like, oh, okay. It's like that sigh of relief, like, she told me it's okay. So it's okay. And it's nice to have that feeling too, where people have that trust in you that if you say, I have your back and we have this all covered, that they're confident that they know you mean that and, that it's all going to be all right.
When we were talking earlier and, everybody knows how Jose likes to use the whiteboard.
Yeah.
One thing I think, and I've done this with 3 or 4 agents recently, and I think it helps. We were using the whiteboard, but you don't create your own little yellow pad here and just literally draw 4 columns. And in those 4 columns say, okay, what am I doing marketing wise that is creating something to build my business? And just fill those buckets. And it might be that you only have 2 that you're doing. Think of 3 and 4 to get 4. So that the whole thing about marketing is we all know, I feel like I'm seeing him everywhere. Okay, well, what does that mean? It means that I'm blending what I'm doing so that everywhere they are, I am. So when I was saying do the same thing, the same message, like reviews, take that all the way through with your postcards, whatever else. But what I'm saying is just draw 4 columns on a yellow pad. And what am I doing? Okay, that's one thing I'm doing. What am I doing? That's 2 things I'm doing. What am I doing? That's 3 things. Get 4 things that you can say, this is what I'm doing to build my business. And then block those out, time block those, if those actually are the things that you're doing as your CEO of your company, that you're making sure that happens every week. It's really important to put that on paper. Having it in your head is okay, but it's really something you need to have on paper so you say, okay, okay, I got it. This is what I'm doing. This is my $100 you're giving me. I got to do this. This is building my business. Something that simple can actually turn a switch and get you into where you want to be marketing wise. Because here it is, what I'm doing.
Most people work off and react better by visualization versus thought.
Thoughts can trick you.
You're right, and you can question your thoughts versus it's on paper. That's what I got to do.
Right.
Right.
Put it in black and white.
Black and white.
Absolutely. And again, as you would hold your employee accountable, right? If you had employees, hold yourself accountable in that manner. Any questions, guys?
Now I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to tell the newer agents that are listening to this meeting, you will never get a meeting like this with any other company in the whole state of Missouri. This is all valuable stuff. Try to go off of it.
Thank you, Diana.
There's just so much. all these meetings, go to all these Zoom meetings because you're gonna learn stuff and it's gonna help you. And
Thank you, Diana.
I've never seen anyone from any of the other companies that I've worked for in the last 30 something years that ever did anything like this. So
Diana, thank you so much. You're always one of our raving fans, and I love it, and I appreciate you, and I always appreciate your comments and your presence for sure. Thank you for that. We definitely appreciate it. Okay, guys, listen, 10:53. We're gonna knock this out a little early. I appreciate you guys being on. Kylie, I'd like to see you here on Monday. Please, it'd be cool to work with you personally. Shane, same way. Anybody that needs Sean, anybody that wants to come in next Monday, I'm gonna be here all day Monday in the Fenton office. I'm gonna sit here with the door open as I always do, as cake and attest to it, and say, hopefully we can see everybody here. We can have fun working around some ideas. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.